These new AI devices, robots, and all this so-called idea that the robots go take all these jobs and shit, ultimately all dealing with mind control. And it ain't gonna get nowhere. It ain't gonna be to the point where life gonna be better than it is, or really worse. Pretty much it's pointless. You gotta look at this shit on a nihilistic level as far as this AI shit and a lot of other shit, but specifically dealing with AI and all this new convenience that they trying to come out with and convince you that life go get better or it's gonna get worse is dealing with mind control. They want you to think that it's gonna get worse based upon that's a way that you can keep the matrix up and running, but it's a hidden idea or it's a hidden agenda. More than an idea, it's the hidden agenda. Basically, dealing with the category of mind control ultimately. So the reason they do that is because that's what keep this matrix up and running. That's what keep this dream sustained. So whether it's you having fear about the future or you looking forward to the future, is what keeps this matrix sustained. And a way to do that is to come out with this concept that these new robots and all that is going, whether whether you believe it's gonna perfect life or it's gonna make life go downhill by these robots taking all the jobs, and they doing this. First of all, the robots taking all the jobs is unrealistic, pointless, because if that was to happen, how the fuck is everybody gonna buy all the shit that the robots is in search for if nobody got no jobs to pay for this shit and the robots is the ones working for the jobs? It's an oxymoronic idea to believe that. So that's basically, as far as AI goes, it ain't gonna get no better than what you think it is just because some AI and some robots doing some shit that they been had, but they just not releasing to the public. They been had these robots. You definitely can't say the idea of robots is new just based off the movie I Robot. Even in the movie I Robot, it's still hidden symbology and mental warfare going on in that movie alone. Hella signs and symbols on some Zeus Demiurge shit, taking your light energy, weaponizing it against you. But specifically in that movie, when Will Smith opened up his arm, he had a cut in his arm, and he had the same robotic shit in him that the iRobot was basically symbolizing that what these AI and robots, computers, cell phone, is just a reflection of what the fuck you is, as far as your DNA go. And we are not these physical bodies. Ultimately, we not these physical bodies and we not physical. Because if you gonna say ultimately we physical, how the fuck can we have thoughts if thoughts are not physical? How the fuck can we have love and love is not physical? How the fuck can you have anger and anger is not physical? So if you just dealing with things on the physical as far as us thinking that we just physical bodies, especially if you know what melanin is, you can't just say that we ultimately physical. So in the movie Our Robot, the way they mind controlling you in that is at the end of the movie, they got you believing that you should make peace with machines and robots and everything gonna be all right just because we make peace, some peace, love, and light bullshit, mind control, stemming back from Martin Luther King and whatever religious belief they put on niggas, but thinking if everybody just be peaceful and get along, just the same shit they was showing you in the Matrix, where you made peace with the robots, making peace with some fucking robots is not gonna give you the ultimate freedom that you need, where the whole physical universe is the ultimate bondage in the first place, and you ain't gonna fully get released from this bondage or this shellhole, this shithole, until you die. Bottom line, you ain't gonna fully escape this food. You ain't gonna fully be liberated from this physical prison, the universe, until you die. Now, the only way that this universe can be looked at as some other than just a prison is if you study and you gaining knowledge, and then you integrating that shit along with your dark side. It ain't gonna be through no machines or no advanced technologies that they coming out with. The machines and shit itself is not really the threat, and nor is the freedom. It's the idea and the mind control that they coming out with, which is the true threat. You can't say that shit ain't even working, because I see a lot of niggas having all this anxiety about what the hell and what the fuck they gonna do. Niggas be worrying about going to hell just to be already experiencing hell with dealing with all this anxiety, with all these unrealistic ass fears. Most importantly, if you a conscious nigga and you sharing all these pictures with a third eye, talking about a pineal gland, you shouldn't even be worried about or excited about what the fuck they gonna come out with. What you gonna do when you leave this motherfucker to where it's gonna be irrelevant anyway. The true freedom is escaping reincarnation. And you can start that process now while you're alive. Now niggas say, well, we shouldn't talk about death because none of us ultimately knows what happens when you die. Well shit, nigga, we know what the fuck happens when you alive, nigga. What about correspondence? You can't front like you don't see what's happening in front of you. So if you go say some shit like, we shouldn't really ponder death, or we shouldn't really, come on. If that's the case, then what the hell is you being religious for? You can't say it's out of love. You really doing that shit out of fear. Bowing down to Allah, bowing down to AI, bowing down to some jobs. But really, ultimately, you scared of death. Fear of the unknown. If that's the case, ain't like you gonna know what's gonna happen tomorrow. That's part of the unknown. So what the fuck you pondering tomorrow for? What the fuck you pondering what the fuck these robots gonna do when they come out with them? Well, they already came out with them. You just gonna get bored and move on to the next, and that's when they gonna move on to some more devices to release and have you under some more mind control. If anything, they're running out of shit to release. How the fuck you ain't know? How the fuck you know they ain't have these robots and these iPhones, flying cars and shit back in the 60s already? Niggas so caught up in thinking that we just the fucking monkeys in a circus and shit. Just to see other monkeys do some circus shit that we overlooking shit like that. Or we can't even ponder things in our own thoughts, in our own mind. And if we is doing that shit, it's only based off some fear-mongering shit that leading us back to sucking dick to religion and shit, praying on their knees. But yet they be in videos waving all these guns and shit, talking about spinning the block just to have anxiety about what the fuck some robots go do. Where's the true balance if we go talk about balance and shit? If we kings, gods, priests, titans, then what the hell is we doing being scared of some mundane shit that gotta run off a battery in the first place? You worry about some robots taking over when they can't even stop the iPhone from fucking up and gotta be updated every goddamn 2 weeks. Don't get me started on no Android, cause at one point y'all thought these shits was advanced. Y'all thought Androids was advanced. Still dealing with mind control. If you calling niggas broke cause of Android, you want the mind control. If you think somebody balling and rich cause of an iPhone, you want the mind control. And you can't say it's far-fetched cause I seen the memes. When niggas say he got an Android or he got an iPhone, but he's still getting food stamps. Ancient motherfuckers been talking about this shit. Niggas fascinated with the pyramids, but what the hell is they saying in these pyramids? How the hell is you fascinated with Greek mythology when you ain't really reading between the lines of what they saying in Greek mythology? Looking at shit on the surface level is the mundane way of looking at shit using your two eyes, especially if you know about Gnosticism. Where in Gnostic mythology, they say the kingdom is all around you, but you can't see it because you're looking with your two eyes instead of your third eye. And then when we going back to some basic metaphysical occult shit, when you should been know by now that Jesus is just a goddamn concept. And if it was a nigga named Jesus, he was just another human being using his potential more than the average Joe. But I don't stop at him. Christ is the concept. Jesus is just the humanity. Which in reality, when you tap into your Christ energy, you realize ain't no such thing as humanity. You under the illusion and under the spell from the demiurge that you are having a humanity. So when you caught up in thinking that these technologies that they coming out with and we somehow getting somewhere because of that shit, that's when you under the illusion, under the spell of the illusion, under the demiurge. And still, when we dealing with the demiurge is still just the lowest form of what the fuck we are spiritually. Because before the demiurge, you had feminine energy. In Gnostic mythology, they calling her Sophia. And before her, it was a hierarchy of other feminine principles, ultimately non-physical. It was light, so it wasn't just darkness. So I don't want to just say in the beginning it was darkness, but it was light before that darkness. But it still wasn't perfected to the point where it prevented us from coming down to earth. We come to earth ultimately, if you go be, ultimately this shit really was for the evolution of the universe because it had crumbled down from where it originally was. And what it originally was non-physical. So going back to my fucking point of thinking that having a better way of spending money with Bitcoin and crypto, you caught up in thinking that's gonna be your way out of shit. It's futile when if you know you what the fuck a soul is ultimately being, I don't even want to say ultimately because spiritual gurus, master teachers and shit, they'll tell you the soul is complex for you to fully understand. So, but for the most part, you know, you can do research and understand that it's not physical, and that's a, and if